Wow. Solid album, man. Solid album. Creativity is on point. The musicianship is on point. They get their point across. They have a lot to say. Very relatable subject matter, and a number of them. Hey, they've really got a touch of creativity, and the four of them really all seem to bring something, contribute something to that. Even Keith's drumming just sometimes takes you away, the way he does those. That they're not called triples. Somebody told me what they were. Now I can't even remember. But yeah, man, they all contribute to that mood that they're trying to kind of get you to settle into. You know, for example, How Many Friends? Yo, that just totally got me, you know. That, to me, is probably the big standout track on side 2. And of course, Squeezebox for side 1. But overall, it's a solid album. Of course, no big pow notable hits. I imagine Squeezebox is probably a big one. But, you know, nothing colossal in a sense, you know, like Pinball Wizard or something like that. But yeah, doesn't have to have big colossal hits to be a great piece of work. And it's a great piece of work. Very, very notable. And yeah, man, I would definitely listen to this a number of times again and again. Great solid sound from The Who, man. Yeah, man. I sometimes sit and I think, you know, where would modern music be without the presence of a band such as The Who? You know what I mean? It would be a great void. You would feel the void. Just like right now in our contemporary day, we're feeling that great void of not having great, fantastic, elemental music like this present in our everyday. You know what I'm saying? I know someone will roll their heads and say, no, you're just not looking hard enough. You're just not. No, I'm talking about the abundance of what you guys had back in the day. You know what I mean? That wonderful stuff. It was just every single word, every single street corner. You had great acts, man. You look left, you got Jefferson Airplane. You look right, you got Led Zeppelin. You look behind you, you got the Stones. You look in front of you, you got the Who. You got all of this great stuff. So it was just such a part of your everyday makeup. But now we notice that void. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I know there's great acts out there, and it's like digging for buried treasure. But yeah, man, I tell you, you guys, I envy you growing up in a time when you had all of this in abundance. So I'm just going to say that. Yeah, notice how I tapered off from that, because I know it's a slippery slope. I'll catch fire from some people. All right, man. Hey, let's do a little background. This is the end of side 2 here. This is my little point break where I'll separate this video into 2 if it doesn't make it up onto YouTube. So this is the end of side 2. Let's go into the review now. Side 3, part 3. So let's do a little background, man. Get a little information on the album, how it was brought about, the feelings about it, the whole story behind the songs, if we can get all of that. Okay, Wikipedia. Okay. Yeah, decent amount of info here. A couple of paragraphs. Looks like about 6 paragraphs. Okay, so The Who by Numbers is the 7th studio album by English rock band The Who, released on the 3rd of October in '75 in the UK through Polydor Records, and on the 25th of October '75 in the US by MCA Records. It was named the 10th best album of the year in the Village Voice Pass and Jot Critics poll. I've never heard of that. Pass and Jot Critics poll. The Village Voice. Background. Pete Townshend has claimed that the band recorded practically every song he had written for The Who by Numbers, partially due to a writer's block that he was experiencing at the time. The songs on the album were, for the most part, more introspective and personal than many other songs that the band had released. Absolutely. Townshend had his 30th birthday in May of '75 and was struggling with the idea of being too old to play rock and roll, and that the band was losing its relevance. He began to feel disenchanted with the music industry, a feeling that he carried into his songs. He said of the songs on the album, quote, "The songs were written with me stoned out of my brain, in my living room, crying my eyes out, detached from my own work and from the whole project. I felt empty." After concluding the album tour for Quadrophenia in June of '74, The Who took an extended hiatus and did not perform live for more than a year. John Entwistle kept himself occupied by playing solo gigs. In addition, the band spent this time filming a movie based on the Tommy Rock opera. Okay. Recording. This was their first album on Polydor. The sessions for The Who by Numbers began in April of '75 and lasted through early June. The album was released in October, and the band began touring it, which spanned some 70 concerts before concluding in the fall of '76. For the album's recording, the band recruited producer Glenn Johns. The band had previously worked with Johns during the 1971 album Who's Next. Compared to previous Who albums, The Who by Numbers took an unusually long time to complete, as noted above, nearly 3 months, and was marred by numerous breaks and interruptions due to the band members' growing boredom and lack of interest. Only 4 of the 10 songs on The Who by Numbers were performed live, 2 of which, Squeezebox and Dreaming from the Waist, became concert staples. Townshend said of the album's recording sessions, quote, it's got a lot to say here. "I felt partly responsible because the Who recording schedule had, as usual, dragged on, sweeping all individuals and their needs aside. Glenn worked harder on the Who by Numbers than I've ever seen him. He had to, not because the tracks were weak or the music poor, but because the group was so useless. We played cricket between takes or went to the pub. I personally had never done that before. I felt detached from my own songs, from the whole record. Recording the album seemed to take me nowhere. Roger was angry with the world at the time. Keith seemed as impetuous as ever, on the wagon 1 minute, off the next. John was obviously gathering strength throughout the whole period. The great thing about it was he seemed to know we were going to need him more than ever before in the coming year." Unquote. Album cover. The album cover was drawn by John Entwistle. In '96, when asked about the cover, he replied, quote, "The first piece of artwork released is The Who by Numbers cover, which I never got paid for, so now I'm going to get paid." Laughs. "We were taking it in turns to do the covers. It was Pete's turn before me, and we did the Quadrophenia cover, which cost about the same as a small house back then. My cover cost only $32. Release and reception. The Who by Numbers peaked at number 7 on the UK albums chart and number 8 on the Billboard 200 albums chart in the US. Squeezebox was also a top 20 hit in both Britain and America. The Rolling Stone review of The Who by Numbers stated, "They must have made their greatest album in the face of their personal problems, but only time will tell." Unquote. Personal problems. Yeah, so I guess that it was out there that they were disenchanted with their work, maybe the direction they were going in, maybe they were learning about their vices and things of that sort, you know. As with every band having those challenges. In an interview from 30 Years of Maximum R&B, Townshend declared Dreaming from the Waist and Sister Disco from Who Are You as his least favorite songs to play on stage. In contrast though, Entwistle declared in the same series of interviews that Dreaming from the Waist was one of his favorite songs to perform live. Daltrey referred to the album as his favorite in his memoir. Interesting. Masters and reissues. Remasters and reissues. The 96 remaster was remixed by John Astley. On the remaster, the end of They Are All in Love is cross-faded with Blue, Red and Grey. Blue, Red and Grey was quite interesting, just him and the ukulele. The original album did not feature this crossfade. On the 24th of December in 2011, the album was remastered and reissued in Japan using the original mix. The live bonus tracks from the previous edition were included on the reissue. The packaging replicated the original vinyl release of the album. Okay, and that is it. Wikipedia song fact info of Who by numbers. So, if this is their low point at the height of their fame and their success, well, it's pretty damn good for their low point, I gotta say, man. Solid album. How many artists wish that they had this caliber of creativity, you know? And I say this about Led Zeppelin quite often. You can take Led Zeppelin's worst and someone can have a successful career with their worst. Same thing about the Who here, man. You know, you can take this stuff, put it in the hands of another artist, and they can really have a great go at it, you know, not having all of the previous history of being run down, being weather beaten, being stomped around. If they're coming into it fresh and bright-eyed and you give them this album, they're going to go really far with it. They're going to play the shit out of it. They're going to go on the road. They're just going to have a really good time with the success of it, you know? So yeah, even at their worst at the time, if this is considered to be their worst, it's pretty damn good and it's pretty solid. And I'm going to come into it, listening to it going forward without embracing all of the previous stuff. Yeah, I'm aware that, okay, they were having strifes and troubles and all that, but I can separate the quality of the music from all of the negative stuff of the stories attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. You know, it's kind of like with Led Zeppelin, you know, going through, especially in Through the Outdoor and now Coda, you know, there's just so many things that you hear about it. Oh, well, they were at their low point. They were this, they were this, they were this. But damn, you know, on Quota, you put some great songs out there, you know, they're all solid tunes. And even their worst, man, is still really damn good. I'm telling you. So The Who, no exception to that as well. Fantastic musicians. Even at their worst, they're really fantastic, man. And give it up to them. This is a very solid album. Yeah, if I was to rate it, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely. And 4s and 5s to me are worthy to go on my playlist. So this album is worthy of my damn playlist. So I like it very much. I'm just scrolling down here now, just checking my notes before I bounce here. Okay, yeah. So what I got coming up is, I believe, going in the chronology, it's Who Are You Next? I might throw in a couple of smaller, maybe complimentary quads in there. I'm still waiting to hear back from a couple of patrons who did have the Who loaded in the chute for a couple of complimentary quads. So I just want to kind of, you know, just spice it in there a little bit along the way, just to mix it up and keep it interesting, so it isn't just one chronology album after another. But, you know, we'll see. If I don't hear from those patrons, then, you know, I'll just carry on. You know, some patrons come and go, you know, things happen in your life and you're not logging on every single day. So it might take a couple of days to see my message request or whatnot. So, you know, we'll just carry on until that happens, if we hear from them again. In the meantime, I'm really enjoying The Who, man. I'm really enjoying, and I'm glad that along the process of the Artist of the Month that we did get to The Who, that we did, you know, because it's been a year, yeah, over a year that I've been doing Artist of the Month. So to even think that it took this long to get to The Who is unspeakable. But then again, I shouldn't be surprised. We haven't even hit Eric Clapton, haven't even hit the Rolling Stones, man, if you can believe that shit. So there's a lot to do, but you guys already know of my plans. We're going to put a halt on the Artist of the Month for a while, get the new channel going, see what kind of time that we've got to work with down the road, and then maybe do, maybe not in such a full-blown sense, but maybe something on a smaller scale. We'll see. It's all about time. It's all about availability of time. So we'll see how it fits in going down the road. Anyways, man, that is my reaction to this whole fantastic album. I really like it very much, and I'm definitely looking forward to Who Are You? So you guys have yourselves a good one. Take care, and I'll catch you in the Who Are You album. Peace.